Hey guys, my name is Amy and I am another member of ACI's KAST team. So for this lesson, we are learning about cryptology in forensics. Now, before we can understand what cryptography is, let's get some information about forensics. So, what is forensics? It's kind of like detective work. You may be wondering, how could cryptography be related to the police? Well, it uses scientific evidence in order to help the law. Here's an example. Like I said before, forensics is like detective work. So if a detective or a forensic scientist were to be at a crime scene, they would use many different methods to analyze any evidence that is left at the scene to help solve what has happened. Okay, moving on to cryptography. Cryptography is the study of not only making, but also breaking ciphers. A cipher is a secret way of writing, and it can use a set of letters or symbols to help represent a message. Since only the people with the cipher can decipher or decrypt the message, it can be considered secret. You can use many special programs or hardware, or even a cipher disk, which you guys are going to make later, to make secret messages. Now, here are some definitions that you might need to know. So, encryption is the process of making a message turn into a seemingly random string of letters, while decryption is the reverse. Decryption is when you convert the random string of letters back into the original so that you can find the secret message. Some other methods of encrypting involve codes. Codes are symbols that can be used to substitute meanings or words, just like in the picture on this slide. Some other examples could be using a paw to represent an animal, goggles to represent science, or a notepad to represent a detective. Okay, now let's get started with cipher wheels. Cipher wheels are used to make secret messages. As you can see from this picture on this slide, the inner letters correspond with the outer letters. So, if the encrypted message started with an A, the real message would actually start with a G. Here's some more information about cipher wheels. To encrypt a message with a cipher wheel, first find the letter from your message in the inner wheel, and then find the matching letter in the outer wheel. You're going to write that down, and then you're going to repeat for the rest of the letters. To decrypt a message with a cipher wheel, you're going to find the first letter of the secret message in the outer wheel and then match it with the letter in the inner wheel. You're going to write it down again and also repeat that process until you get your actual message.
Hey guys, my name is Maya. I'm from Agincourt C.I, and for our cryptography activity, I will be showing you how to make and use your own cipher disk. So for this activity, you're going to need some templates like these, or a blank sheet of paper will do, a pencil, pen, or anything to write with, a pair of scissors, a piece of cardboard or manila paper, and finally a paper fastener, but for today I'm going to use a paper clip. Now first, you're going to print out these templates, or you can draw them yourselves if you'd like, but making sure to use a compass and a ruler so everything is straight and lined up. Now, if the letters aren't already written in the template, then you're going to fill it in, writing the letters in order around the outer and inner circles, making sure to put one letter in each space. So next, we're going to use some scissors to carefully cut out both discs. If your discs are just on thin paper like mine, you're going to attach them to a piece of cardboard or manila paper, so I've pre-cut these already. Now you can attach it just to the larger disc or to both, whatever works for you, and you can also just leave it loose and attach it with a paper fastener, or you can glue them like I'm going to do. So I've attached my two discs to some pieces of cardboard just so they're sturdier and easier to work with, and now we're going to fasten them together. So if you have a paper fastener, all you're going to do is put it through the middle of both of the discs and fasten it right at the back. But since today I'm using a paper clip, I'm going to open it up like this and first put it through the middle of the back of the first disc. So right in the middle, be very careful not to hurt yourself. and lay the back flat like this. Then we're going to take the inner disc and put it on as well through its middle. Like that. Now if the cardboard is a bit tougher and it's harder to poke the holes, you might want to take a toothpick to poke the holes first, but be very careful not to hurt yourself. So finally, we're just gonna fasten this paper clip up, close it up so the discs don't fall apart, and you have a perfectly functioning cipher disk. So now I'm going to show you how to use your cipher disks. Say we want to encrypt our own message, and for this example, we're gonna use KAST. Then the first thing we're going to do is create an index. So we're going to match something on the outer circle to something on the inner circle, and for this example, let's just say we're going to match A to S. And then we're going to start encrypting. So the outer circle represents the actual message, while the inner circle represents the encrypted message. So we're going to find K on the outer circle while making sure that our index, A to S, is there at all times. Now we can see that K corresponds to C. Then we look at A and we find A on the outer circle, and that corresponds to S on the inner circle. Then S on the outer circle corresponds to K on the inner circle. And T on the outer circle corresponds to L on the inner circle, and that is our encrypted message. Now, if we want to go backwards, so we don't have this, and we have the index of A to S, we're going to make sure that that's there, and we're going to decrypt this message. So first we start with finding C on the inner circle this time, and see that it matches to K on the outer circle. Then S on the inner circle corresponds to A on the outer. Then K on the inner corresponds to S on the outer, and L corresponds to T, and we've decrypted the message. So sometimes when you're trying to decrypt the messages with your cipher, you're not going to know what the index is, and in that case, it's just trial and error to see if you can find a corresponding letter. But to help yourself, you can definitely look for patterns, things that repeat, or just things that you notice. So there you go, guys. Now you know how to make your own cipher disks, as well as create your own messages and decrypt them as well. Now, if you did want to make this a little bit more challenging, a little bit more fun, what you could do is switch out these letters for some symbols that you can create yourself, or mix up the order of the letters to make it more challenging as well, and be as creative as you want. Now, something to think about would be what patterns you see in decrypting these messages, and this could really help you with the more challenging messages.
Okay, so we learned a lot today in a very short amount of time. So here is a summary of what I think is the most important points from today's lesson. So, forensics is the study of using scientific evidence in order to help the law. Cryptography is the study of making and breaking ciphers. A cipher is a secret way of writing. You can use symbols or letters to represent a message. Encryption is when you code your message, while decryption is the reverse, where you convert it back to its original. Cipher wheels are used to make secret messages, and the inner letters correspond with the outer letters in a cipher wheel. So, have a great one,